Hi, my name is Jenna Schulte, and today I'll be reading Judges 15, Samson Attacks the Philistines. Later on, at the time of the wheat harvest, Samson went to visit his wife, bringing along a young goat. He said, "Let me go into my wife's bedroom." But her father wouldn't allow him to go in. Her father said, "I was so sure that you had completely rejected her that I gave her in marriage to one of your companions. Don't you think her younger sister is even better? Let her be your wife instead." Samson replied, "No one can blame me now for being ready to bring down trouble on the Philistines." Then Samson went and caught 300 foxes, and he took torches, turned the foxes tail to tail, and put the torches between each pair of tails. He lit the torches and released the foxes into the Philistines' grain fields. So he burned the stacked grain, standing grain, vineyards, and oil orchards. The Philistines inquired, "Who did this?" So it was reported, "Samson, the Timnite's son-in-law, did it, because his father-in-law gave his wife in marriage to one of his companions." So the Philistines went up and burned her and her father to death. Samson then responded to them, "If this is how you act, then I won't stop until I get revenge on you." He struck them hard, taking their legs right out from under them. Then he traveled down and stayed in a cave in the rock at Etam. The Philistines marched up, made camp in Judah, and released their forces on Lehi. The people of Judah asked, "Why have you marched up against us?" "We've marched up to take Samson prisoner," they replied, "and to do to him just what he did to us." So 3,000 people from Judah traveled down to the cave in the rock at Etam and said to Samson, "Don't you realize that the Philistines rule over us? What have you done to us?" But he told them, "I did to them just what they did to me." Then the people of Judah said to him, "We've come down to take you prisoner so we can turn you over to the Philistines." Samson responded to them, "Just promise that you won't attack me yourselves." "We won't," they said to him. "We'll only take you prisoner so we can turn you over to them. We won't kill you." Then they tied him up with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. When Samson arrived at Lehi, the Philistines met him and came out shouting. The Lord's Spirit rushed over him. The ropes on his arms became like burned up linen, and the ties melted right off his hands. He found a donkey's fresh jawbone, picked it up, and used it to attack 1,000 men. Samson said, "With a donkey's jawbone, stacks on stacks. With a donkey's jawbone, I've killed 1,000 men." When he finished speaking, he tossed away the jawbone, so that place became known as Ramath Lehi. Now Samson was very thirsty, so he called out to the Lord, "You are the one who allowed this great victory to be accomplished by your servant's hand. Now I am going to die of thirst and fall into the hands of the uncircumcised." So God split open the hollow rock in Lehi, and water flowed out of it. When Samson drank, his energy returned, and he was recharged. Thus that place is still called by the name En-Hakkore in Lehi today. Samson led Israel for 20 years during the time of the Philistines.